Last time on Square Roots, Sora gets a membership card, Goofy knows a woman when he sees one, and Beast puts some old junk away in the basement. Also, a raven hauls around an old robe, Pete invests in zippers, and Donald still doesn't wear pants. Nothing like feeling the wind on your tail feathers, am I right?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Hello, friends. I'm Matthew Van Zandt.
John Hydra Brandon.
Hydra.
And Vanessa.
Hail Hydra.
And this is a
Hydra
podcast where we play and talk
15,000.
about your favorite classic
You will never
RPGs,
know.
one chunker at a time, like Kingdom Hearts 2, of which this is our third episode.
Wow, only 3 in, huh? I thought we were almost done with this thing.
But I feel like we've done a lot of the worlds so far.
Oh, that's good to hear that we're only 3 episodes in, but we've already done a lot of the worlds.
Well, then you have to do them all again, so don't get too excited. How are you guys enjoying Kingdom Hearts so far?
Less now that I know that I have to go back to Land of Dragons.
Yeah, the boss there sucks.
There's a part in this chunker that delights me.
Yay.
So I'm doing pretty well.
Ooh.
I can't wait to see what delights Vanessa.
Somebody's delighted.
So, Jim, before we get started on our level ups, I have someone who wants to talk to you all.
Oh, no.
Not to me, I hope.
To you all. It is my friend, Pete. Without any further ado, here comes Pete.
Oh, hey. Well, hello, everybody. No, I had Matthew Van Zandt ask me the other day what I was doing inside of Kingdom Hearts 2, because it seems like my motivations are not fully explained. You know what I'm talking about, Matthew?
No, because I didn't ask you that.
You sure did. You were like, why is Pete there? And I said, well, you know, I got awfully lonely after the divorce, and PJ's mom left me for a younger man, and now he's off in college, so I decided I would try out hang around with this Maleficent, because I wanted to get to know her. She seemed like a tall, attractive lady.
Now, is that a choice? Now, is the all-leather bodysuit a choice that you made, or is that a uniform that she makes you wear?
Oh, that's a funny story. You know, a lot of people say that you can't get into kink scenes in your middle ages or beyond, but I found they're a very
Never heard that
supportive
before.
community. Really, they're supportive of me and my body type.
So not a uniform, then. This is a choice.
No, this is more of a change of lifestyle kind
Did
of
you
thing.
have that zipper added on your own, or is that just how it came?
Oh, it's an option on the website. You know, for $50 old, you could put a front-to-back zipper on any old hip waiter or coveralls, zentai.
Have you ever gotten your nuts cut in the zipper?
Oh, they've got a little pouch, don't you know?
Excuse me, Mr.
Yeah, it's young
Mr.
lady
Pete.
there.
Yes, thank you. I
What
have
are
a
you,
question.
25?
I'm 23, but I do look mature for my age, so thank you very much for asking. I have a question. I hope this isn't too forward, but you famously do have a long tail because you are a kitty cat, and I was
Right.
wondering how the tail situation works with the front to back zipper.
Well, I had a longer tail back when I was more of a cat man, but now I'm more of a dog man.
What?
Oh,
You know how Goofy was originally more of a cow and is now kind of a dog?
So you're saying that Disney characters that are undefined just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They just kind of swing towards dog.
Exactly.
Does that make Pluto the most mature of the Disney animals because he's actually a dog?
No, because he's a
Pluto is not really a person.
Wow, sick burn on Pluto.
And now I got one of them stubby tails, like that cat the gorilla had.
Did you get your tail docked, or did it sort of just shrink with old age?
Oh, that's a sensitive question. But yes, I got it docked.
Wow,
it was
elective surgery.
surprisingly erotic.
Oh, boy. I think your surgery itself is supposed to be erotic.
You'd be surprised.
Oh.
Anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Pete.
Pete.
Bye, Pete.
Don't come back.
Yeah, Pete, don't come back.
So, Pete has a thing for Maleficent is the answer to that question, Matt.
Oh, he
Was
has
that
a
a que-
thing
was
for
that a
Maleficent.
question? Was
I
that a
don't remember
question?
asking that question.
You were very drunk.
This has been great, but I think it's time for us to move on to our next segment where we discuss how we leveled up. And I'm going to go first.
Go first.
Okay.
I saw a movie. Can you guess what that movie was called?
I
Highlander.
don't have to guess because you've told us. However, the listeners do have to guess.
But wait,
Matt, were you just singing the Space Jam song?
I think
Yeah,
so.
it sounds
Are
like-
you ready for
Are
this?
you ready for this?
Aren't you doing a whole episode on this?
Are we? I don't know.
Well,
it was
that's what
unclear
we
to
were
me
gonna
last night
talk about,
because
John.
Vanessa, when I was talking to Vanessa about it, she seemed interested, but then she said no in all
I
caps.
said no to watching it at that moment because I was going to my bed. However,
Yeah.
I have consented to discuss it with you
All right,
after
well,
I watch
fine.
it, which I have not done.
Our April bonus episode will be on this subject, so I guess I won't say much other than to say that I watched Mortal Kombat. And it's pretty bonkers.
Y'all ready for this?
Pretty bonkers. Finish him. We'll dive into the details, but let's just say that there's a lot to talk about. Not much of it good. Hey, you know how else I leveled up?
Hey, Alice.
Wow.
I did something that I said I would never do.
Showered. Yeah.
Went on a date.
Brush my teeth. I adopted a kitty cat.
Love
What?
cats. Now we all have cats. We should make our
Yes.
cats do a podcast.
A pod. Cats.
Oh, podcats.
Cats.
Cast.
A pod. Cats.
Wow, that's
Oh,
the most tortured
podcast.
title for anything I've ever heard.
Wait, no, there's still that, how deaf do you pardid ye?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was terrible. I adopted a cat.
Square Roots Podcasts. Oh, for kitties all the time.
I adopted a cat, and her name is Dory, and she is a dark tortoiseshell, black and brown and white kitty cat. She's got 6 toes, or as the lady that I adopted her from referred to it, she has a thumb.
Yeah,
And,
it's like one in something like 100 cats has thumbs like that. It's crazy.
I like it because it means that she's a mutant, so in my mind, she's X-Cat. X-Cat is very sweet, but she's still scared. She
Ex-cat
just
your
came
cat's
home.
Nobody.
She came home yesterday, and she is still kind of hiding under the couch and not talking to anybody, but that's okay. Figure by this time next week, she'll be comfy as can be. And for those of you
She's
demanding
gonna
pics
love you
of this
so
cat,
much.
I will not. You will never see my cat.
You'll never see Matt's cat? Oh. Well, you can see pictures of my cat anytime.
No, don't do that. You don't want to do that.
They're on Twitter. I saw them.
All right, anyway, that's how I leveled up. What about you, Vanessa?
Hey, I watched a cool show that I found all by myself because I heard about it from myself. It is called Shadow and Bone, and it's on Netflix. This show is based on a series of YA books, and it's very, very tropey. It's like Bridgerton YA version. All of the things you expect to see in a YA book. A chosen one, a magical academy, love that's unrequited, some kinds of like adventures, a very handsome but dark and foreboding man. It's all there, and I like it.
It's all there? Are there
all there.
Are there any fatalities?
Well, that would be giving away some spoilers.
Are there any nudalities?
Yes, I did see characters bare bottom.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
And it is about like war and combat. And the characters are so far appear to all be mortals. So if you want to see some mortals engaging in combat, in which they use spectacular powers like shooting fire, the only movie for you to watch is a TV show called Shadow and Bone.
It seems I watched a little bit of Shadow and Bone as well. It seems a little Avatar: The Last Airbendery. Some people have like wind bending and some people have fire bending.
Yeah. It kind of has everything, like all mixed up into one, although it is set in sort of a fantasy Russia setting, which is unusual for these kind of things. They're usually in England or the United States. So that's fun. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to write a letter about it to the editor of my local newspaper, but I am going to continue to watch it.
How far into it did you get?
I watched 3 episodes. And I was persuaded to watch it by, I don't remember who, but someone told me it was about this character who discovers she's magic and gets to go live in a fancy house and try on fancy clothes. And that was all true, and it's all I wanted to see, and it happened. So thank you, anonymous recommender.
I know my Square Roots co-hosts like the back of my hand. I know what's they likes. I knows what's they don't likes.
You know how to persuade them to be interested in something.
I know.
How would you persuade Jim and John to watch this show?
Well, see, but I wouldn't, because I don't think either of them would be interested in it.
Yeah, but if you had to.
Put a gun to their head?
Wow, that got dark real fast. Jim, how did you...
Wait. Edit. Hang on, let me try again. Bribe them?
Ooh,
I'm bribable.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Susceptible to
Look at that.
bribes. This
Figured
guy.
it out.
Whose turn is it now?
Now it's Jim's turn. Jim,
Whoa.
how did you level up?
I also watched Mortal Kombat. I attempted to stay up super late to watch it upon release. Was under the impression that it was going to release at midnight Central Time. Actually like 12:30, turned on HBO Max to fire it up, and it was not released yet. So I went to sleep and woke up at 5:30 in the morning so that I could watch it first thing in the morning before taking my daughter to school. And I did, and it was not worth it. But we'll go into all the ins and outs of it in this month's bonus, which should be released before the end of the week.
Yep.
So keep your ears open for that. But I will say that I simultaneously was delighted by it and disappointed. But yeah, Mortal Kombat. John, how did you level up?
Hello, friends. I leveled up by... I purchased a game called Nier Replicant, which came out, I believe, this week. It is a remake of the first Nier, but a remake of there were 2 versions released in Japan. There's Nier Replicant and Nier Gestalt. Nier Gestalt is the one that got released in North America last time, which was about the main character as a father to a dying girl. And this game is about being the, like, sexy twink brother to the dying girl. So it's otherwise
What does
pretty
that have
similar.
to do with robots living on the moon?
No,
Well, that's Nier Automata.
yeah.
There is thematic and plot connections between Nier and Automata, but I do not know what they are. And it also somehow connects with the Drakengard series, which I have not played.
I've watched a few YouTube explainer videos on it, and I still cannot make heads or tails of what's going on.
I remember when Drakengard 2 got released like 15 years ago, and there were like videos of the babies floating through a downtown city, like these giant babies that were just, and people are saying like this game has the most insane ending of any RPG ever. So I do want to go back and play them, but they are not easy to find. I have Drakengard 3 on PS3 because it was like $5, but I also need to get a new PS3 because I bought a used one a couple of years ago, but now the fan goes in mega berserk mode anytime I turn it on. So I need a new old PS3. I'm going to go for a Slim because those have better cooling. Other interesting things to talk about than cooling. I played more Outriders. That game is fun. And let's see. What else did I do? I've been rewatching Community. Outriders, you can get some fun outfits in it. The voice acting is super dumb, but enjoyable. There's some really good writing in that game. I strongly recommend it. I was thinking about holding off on playing Nier because now we can play Nier 1 as a retro game, and this is a remake, so it would certainly be eligible. But I also thought, wait, I don't think Matt would ever play Nier 1 on the podcast, so I don't know if I should bother holding off. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know what that is.
Nier?
Yeah.
It's a game. It's the
Nier
prequel.
Automata, the game that canceled Instant Classic.
The one before that, which is very similar, sort of, but different.
So you want to play with fate here and maybe cancel this podcast?
Yeah, see, I just don't, I don't see Matt going through it. And this is one of those games where you kind of have to finish it a few times to get the real ending.
Oh, don't ever talk to me about finishing something a few times. That's never going to happen.
But it's not like the replays are short compared to the original playthrough, but still, I just don't see it happening. Like, as much as I'd like to play this, I don't think it's a good fit for this podcast in particular.
Maybe a versus, you know?
There was someone asking on our Facebook group, what game would want to choose to make the other co-hosts mad, like Jim choosing Kingdom Hearts 2. And Nat was saying he would choose The Bard's Tale.
Again, yeah.
I think Nier Replicant would be a good choice for me, or really any of the
choices you make.
Yeah, super nerdy choices like Last Remnant or something. What about?
I want to play Last Remnant. I think for you, the ones that you could pick are like those D&D games.
Yeah,
that look like,
I thought about like a Pool
like
of Radiance or Curse
like,
the Azure
yeah,
Bond.
like those.
Or like
Can't
the
do
Dark
it.
Sun game. Vanessa, what would you choose that would make the hosts really mad at you? The other
Vampire
hosts.
the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Again.
Again.
What about? Oh, I guess that's not Vampire, is it? I was thinking of the Legacy of Kain series.
Ooh, I like those. Sorry, that doesn't make me mad, Matt. Anyway, why don't we crack open? Oh, I started reading this the other day. Jiminy's Journal.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, hey, I have a question for you guys first.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm
If
ready.
Kingdom Hearts 4 came out, and there was a Square Roots world, what would it be called, and what would it be populated with?
I feel like we'd each have to have our own section of it. It would be the Square. I think it would be called the Square Roots House.
Okay, that makes sense. Square Roots house. Mm-hmm. It's just a house floating in space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like Beast Castle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It would have a horny grandma.
A
Less
She
West
would
Wing,
be the
obviously.
princess of heart of that world.
a West Wing full of Chris's.
The boss would be a baby Fresh Eyes.
Yeah.
That's trying to rob you of your experiences.
There would be a gymnasium with Joshton in it doing weight work.
A hot dog bed.
Yep.
Yep.
A bed shaped like a hot dog and a whole lot of bears.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a princess of heart.
I like this idea, actually. I like the idea of Vanessa stomping around demanding that she's a princess, and then that lets Jim, John, and I basically be the Three Stooges.
That was Vanessa
Just
doing
following her
horny
around.
grandma impression. That wasn't her regular voice.
Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
How did I mistake this 23-year-old voice with horny grandma? I don't know.
What was that? What's happening here?
Bossy Vanessa, the princess of heart, and then she's got Matt, John, and Jim, the three dummies. John's a little bear.
Sound like something I would enjoy too. I could
Right?
have like a little pink dress and like a scepter with a heart on top that I could bonk people with, and be like,
John
"I'm a princess of
obviously
heart."
would be a cute bear. What would Jim and Matt be?
Jim would be a cactuar.
No. We're talking Disneyfied, so
Jim
I'd
would be
probably
a Disney cactuar.
Be like a Goofy-esque. Goofy-esque cactuar.
And I'd be like, oh, Mrs. Vanessa, I'm better than other goons of yours, right?
No one is good enough for me, the princess of heart, except those dreamy Disney princes. You go and you bring me that Aladdin. I need Eric. I need Flynn Rider. I need Kristoff. And I need Prince Charming, the ultimate dreamboat.
obviously Matt would be a sloth.
Yeah. A zany sloth voiced by Robin Williams.
Zany sloth.
I don't even get to voice myself. Jeez.
No.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Well, apparently John's going to reach beyond the grave for Robin Williams. And while he does that, we should crack open the old Jiminy's Journal, huh?
John said Robin Williams, but he's just going to hire Dan Castellaneta and call it Robin Williams.
Let's open up Jiminy's Journal now.
Why does it sound like that?
I don't know. It sounds like a transformer transforming.
Thought like
Is
the
that what you think
pages
that
maybe
sound is?
were stuck together or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when they ate that sea salt ice cream and it was like...
All right, we open on Hercules throwing a Titan into space along with that great Olympus music.
I put that in the notes because that music is great.
Is it? It's fine. Not enough bazooki for me. Sora gets lost and somehow ends up in the underworld while Meg is being chased by Heartless. Okay, so I feel like I'm missing something about... I haven't seen the Hercules movie, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're
Is
not going to
Meg-
understand a lot of what's going on here.
Is Meg a demon or something? Like,
No,
she seems to be
so-
hiding something from Hercules.
So in the movie, Meg is like hired by Hades to like seduce Hercules, but she ends up falling in love with him. She actually sold her soul to Hades in order to like save her previous boyfriend, but I think he ended up leaving her after he was saved. So
As soon as he was free, he was like, "Thanks, babe. Later."
yeah. And so, but like none of that seems to have
Sorry, I
none of
like
that,
girls with souls.
that seemingly hasn't happened in this game world though. Because like or maybe it's already happened because she is like when you meet her, she's trying to get to Hades to convince him to take it easy on Hercules.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think this is after they've already become a couple.
But in the movie, after that happens, isn't Hercules like... No, he renounces his godhood at the end of the movie, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Because he wants to be with Meg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if every listener knows this, but Vanessa actually has an excellent grasp of Greek mythology because at the Montessori educational dance school she went to, they did have a whole year spent on Greek mythology.
We didn't call it Greek mythology. We called it rites and rituals of the ancient gods.
Right.
They called it history.
Yeah. We called it How to Get Ahead by Getting Gods on Your Side.
Was this a Montessori dance school or was it a cult?
What?
What?
We don't use the C word.
John's going to get excommunicated.
Right. I'll never get to go to Montessori dance school.
John's an SP now, a suppressive person.
So yeah, Vanessa is, if you have any questions on Greek mythology or which god was doing what, Vanessa is your gal. She's like, oh, Hades wasn't bad. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I've played Hades. And she's like, I haven't because that's not my kind of game. I'm like, oh, but it's all
That's
about
true. Yeah,
stuff.
but I was talking about how Hercules did kill his mortal wife and children because he was driven into a frenzy by Hera, queen of the gods. However, after Hercules remarried and was then accidentally killed by his second wife, he did ascend into Olympus, where he became a god, and Hera presented her daughter, Hebe, goddess of youth, to be his new wife. And they had 2 children, Alexiares and Antisus. Neither of whom really had strong personalities as gods, but they are sometimes thought to be guardsmen of, like, gateways. And Hercules himself became a god of the slaves because of the time he spent doing his 12 labors.
Oh, that's interesting. So you go down, you're down there in the underworld. And, so Sora saves Meg, and Meg's like, oh yeah, I'm also like a friend of Hercules, and, he's been working himself to the bone, and he really needs to take a break. And that is basically the emotional arc of this chunk. One thing I did notice, every world has different episodes. This feels like more of a later JRPG thing where it's like you kind of have, like, things are divided into episodes, you can go back and replay them and stuff. Did you notice that too, Jim? Like sometimes they'll say new episode is unlocked for this world.
Oh, yeah. When it says that, that means like part 2 of that world you can go do.
Yeah.
Or like, I think some of them have more than 2. Like you can go, I think Hollow Bastion has maybe 3.
This feels like more of a later JRPG, like the PS3, Xbox 360 era of JRPGs had a lot of this, like, you go back to places and they have a new story. It's called like an episode. It's kind of non-linear in way of doing JRPGs. It's different. And also like focuses on repeating chunks and stuff.
Yeah.
So, she was on her way to see Hades to beg for mercy. And then Sora's like, oh, I'll go in her place. And they keep calling Sora junior heroes. I think that's something Hercules calls them.
Well, that's from the first game.
Oh,
because
okay.
when you get through all the Colosseum stuff and actually finish the world, you graduate from like rookie or whatever to junior hero.
I did notice the above ground stuff in the Hercules world seems to be like a repeat of the exact same locations as last time.
Yeah, it's the same Colosseum as last time. Like, exactly the same, almost.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I mean, it makes sense within the context of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
they added
his
a bunch
office.
of... Yeah, they added a bunch of Underworld stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all new. So they spot an organization member. He does run away. And then cut to Hades talking to everyone's favorite character, Pete. Pete says that Hercules has beaten all of Hades' fighters, and Pete says they need to find a fighter who's already dead to save himself the trouble. Hades says he knows just the warrior. And meanwhile,
Who could it be now?
Sora heads out to Hades' chamber. On the way, he finds something called an abgum subtraction.
It's called an absent silhouette.
A abstract sympathy.
Absent silhouette.
It's an abacus
absolute-
syllabant.
Absolute silly.
Yeah. Which is this big floating purple book. And you'll find out more about these in a little bit.
Yeah,
Take a
I'll
look.
just say,
It's
if
in
you...
that book.
if you think you're really good at this game, and you're still, I don't know, and maybe like in the 20s and 30s as far as your level, go try the Absent Silhouette and Beast Castle that we didn't talk about last time. It will make you feel like a baby.
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Because it's difficult.
I don't want to feel like a baby. I'm an adult, Jim.
I'm a man.
I'm a man. Big, strong man.
When was the last time you felt like a baby?
When I was a baby, maybe?
A poster of a girl, a portrait of a lady. I feel like just a baby. Poster of a girl. Doo, doo, doo. That song.
What?
It's a metric song. It's lyrics from a metric song.
A couple years ago, I
Matrix?
had to have my appendix out. That made me feel like a baby.
I remember that.
Aw, little
It
buddy.
produced my favorite Jim quote, which is, I can't, I don't have an appendix.
But weren't we talking about like who was going to write notes?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I don't have an appendix.
He did lean on that for about 4 months of recovery.
Well,
He milked it for what it was worth.
I mean, I lost a whole organ, vestigial or not.
So that is where your soul is kept. So now
It's true.
Jim is soulless.
That's why I ate it after they took it out.
Does that make him a nobody or a heartless?
He's a
Oh,
dusk.
good question.
He's a
Oh,
dusk.
I'm a squiggly.
Yeah.
Aren't the squigglies nobodies?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
They've like lost their forms.
Sure. So then we see Hades summon the mother of all bad guys. And you see him from behind. There's a red capey, cloaky, jackety thing. There's a big old sword. And right away, we know who it is. It's Auron.
I like that they kind of Disneyfied him a little bit. It's not like a straight like adaptation of his character model from Final Fantasy X. He looks a little bit Disneyfied, like in his face, and I think he looks great. He looks cool.
He does look great.
Yeah. It's fun. It was fun seeing him show up. Hades
He has
says
a great limit.
Yes. Where he goes for, it's like a bunch of his limit breaks mixed together if you keep jamming on the Y button.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
My strategy now when I do a limit has become to mash Y and A or whatever the attack button is, like 2 fingers.
Ooh.
Like 2 thumbs. Just stand in one place and mash those because both of them work. So your guy will do his limit and you'll also attack and go through like a combo. It does a lot of damage.
Hades also says that Auron is the ultimate bad guy. He's like, I'm going to summon the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But he's not, I guess, because Pete did say he should get someone who's already dead. So I guess that makes sense. But also spoilers for Final Fantasy X. Although I think that's revealed pretty early in the game, isn't it?
Well, you might
No.
assume that he died during the course of the game.
Right. Then Hades says he'll let Auron out of the underworld. All he has to do is kill Hercules in the Colosseum. And Auron says, "This is my story, and you're not a part of it." And then Auron fights Hades, and Sora shows up and fights Hades. Eventually, Hades starts like pushing you out of the room, and you realize you can't win because he's got this like invincibility thing in the underworld. Also, Sora can't do his drives and a bunch of his other abilities.
Yeah,
so you gotta run away.
there's a curse on you in the underworld that says, I think Hades explains it like all heroes are zeros in the underworld.
Yeah, whatever. It like drains your drive or something. You can't use your drive. I just want to say it's really strange that Auron talks about how like, what does he say? Like, this is my story. Like that was his catchphrase or something.
Yeah.
Like, what is that supposed to mean as a catchphrase?
Well,
I don't understand.
Well,
Titus's catchphrase.
His first line of dialogue in Final Fantasy X was when he found Titus, and he's like, "This is your story," right before like Sin swallows him.
So I guess now he's doing his own story, and we just can imagine that he's off in the Kingdom
It's a
Hearts
fun-
universe doing his
It's a fun
thing.
reference. I think like I wish all of these worlds like because this is like the best integration I think in the series of Final Fantasy and Disney stuff. None of the other worlds or games do this quite so well.
Right. And we should note, voice actor for Hades is everyone's favorite voice actor, James Woods.
Is it actually James Woods? Of course it is.
Yeah,
he's a cool guy.
Doesn't have a super packed schedule. It's
Professional troll, James Woods.
Yeah.
What was that movie James Woods did with Michael J. Fox where they were hard something? Remember he was a cop and Michael J. Fox played a cop on TV.
Ooh, I do remember that. That was like a serious cop movie or something, wasn't
it was a comedy. It was a buddy comedy. Yeah.
James Woods, cop, Michael J.
Hard Copy? No.
Yeah, let's recommend some James Woods movies on the show.
The Hard Way. Yeah, so this is once again, James Woods, delightful voice actor, terrible person. He's having a lot of fun with this role, though.
It is a good role for him because he always plays scumbags.
Yeah.
And
he's typecasting.
Yeah. He plays a good scumbag, though.
He does play a good scumbag. It's like all the scumbags in Supernatural.
It's true. I can think of at least 3 actors off the top of my head, James Wood being one of them, who play really good scumbags and who are, in fact, scumbags.
Who are the other 2?
I won't say. I'm not trying to be sued.
Yeah. Let's just
Your
say...
mom and...
Let's just call one
Tom
of them
Hanks.
Spevin Casey.
Yes, John is correct.
Oh, I know who the other one is. Loves pudding. But it's a bummer that are you about to say this? Auron shows up, but he's only there for 5 minutes, and then we never see him again.
He's there for a bit. He's running around.
You fight Hades and realize you can't win, and then you decide you have to run away. So you have to run back, through the underworld, and in this, I don't know what you call it, this area with all the catwalks, each time you reach a platform, you have to, defeat all the Heartless, and also avoid Hades so you can get away.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you run into everybody's favorite three-headed Goofy. Right?
Three-headed Goofy?
Isn't this where we fight Cerberus?
No, that's a little bit later. I don't
have the notes up. I should stop trying to guess.
So Sora then asks Auron if he's a hero, and Auron's like, no. Auron says maybe Sora needs a guardian.
Wink. Wink.
And Sora freaks out. He's like,
I don't need a guardian. I'm an adult. I don't need a legal guardian anymore. I'm probably 14. I don't know. I was in the egg for a long time. 18. I don't want a guardian.
Why would he not want to come guardian?
Oh God.
Cut to Pete. He's saying to
Imagine
Hades,
how that would change the combat in the game. Instead of...
If someone was guarding Sora's cum.
Yeah. Imagine how that would work.
Kingdom Hearts 1, you had the Cum Guardian who, didn't he sort of, follow him like a backpack?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he called upon his Cum Guardian, he, came in front of him and blocked all the attacks and things?
That should be a spell in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Cum Guardian.
Cut to Pete. He says that
commands
Hades needs to focus on turning Hercules into a Heartless, and then he sicks Cerberus on you.
Turn that Hercules into a Zercules.
Hercules.
That's his nobody name.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that a Heartless?
No, they're different.
So, from what I gather so far, the plot is that Pete has been going around to different worlds and trying to turn powerful people into Heartless, and we keep showing up and stopping him.
Correct.
Why doesn't it make sense that, what if he did turn him into Heartless, though, and we got to see the Heartless versions of them? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
Yes.
but Disney's not going to let that happen to their beloved characters. Because they're beloved characters.
No, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're pure of heart.
You're pure of heart.
Thank you.
So, yeah, this is where you fight Cerberus. Sorry,
Yes.
Matt. You were correct, technically.
Yeah.
You know what you do? I've solved it. I hate it when people do this, but I'm going to do it. This is relating back to my Kingdom Hearts 2 game that stars Roxas. And it's the same thing with you going world to world, but Pete has a machine and he throws them into it and it creates a heartless version of them. So the good one gets to run around and stay pure-hearted, but then there's an evil beast that you have to beat instead of, say,
and there was an evil
Cerberus
beast for a
again.
second in the last world, right? Like you fought, didn't that bomb with the horns turn into beast for a second? Jim was saying last time.
I don't know.
After it was a chandelier.
Well, it turned into like a beast-like monster.
At the end of this series, we're going to petition Square Enix to remake Kingdom Hearts 2 as written by the Square Roots podcast.
Well, you have it on PC. Just, create some mods where.
Yeah, just mod it.
Yeah.
I'll do the voice. I can do Pete and I don't know who else can I do.
Don't
the
say
voice
Donald.
of?
Don't say
Yeah,
Donald.
Donald.
Nope.
Yeah.
For some reason, in this Kingdom Hearts 2 mod, Donald is oddly silent.
Donald is dead.
Vanessa can voice every girl.
Because all girls sound the same.
Great.
Well, Daisy and Minnie sure sound alike.
I can
they
definitely do
don't.
Sora, right, guys? Kingdom Hearts is light. I believe deep down in my soul where nobody knows. I don't know where this is going. I'm not a good voice actor.
What
I'm
a
sorry.
hag.
I laughed so hard at that. Oh, man.
Pete, what's that zipper for?
So you beat up the Cerberus. It's a fun little fight. You get to the underworld gates and find them locked. And this is where you fight Cerberus. Sora then stays behind with Auron to fight him while who escapes? Meg escapes or something? I don't know.
Oh, no. Donald and Goofy leave, and then the gates, get locked. There's, a force field.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
you have to fight Cerberus with Auron.
right. That's right.
AKA, you have to do that limit 60 times in a row.
Yeah.
So you head back up to the overworld, and Hercules is tired now. He's been working too hard, and he doesn't
Hang on.
want...
See? You don't even mention it. We fight Cerberus, and then what happens? Auron vanishes.
Auron can't leave the underworld.
It's
He's
such
a
a
ghost.
non-event in the game when Auron leaves the party that John just walked right over it and didn't even think about it. It just happens. He's just in your party for 30 minutes and then gone. And
Well,
it bums
you
me out.
true.
You
Why
leave
can't
the
you collect
underworld.
these
and
characters?
he's a ghost. He can't leave the underworld because he's
I'm
not
looking
a real.
for
He's not a real boy.
logical explanations, Jim.
Well, maybe if you paid attention to the game, you'd know that.
But that's not the point. It doesn't matter what the excuse was for him leaving. What matters is that he was in the game for 30 minutes. Why did they give this character a whole set of abilities and animations just to have them in your party for
Just to leave you wanting more, bro.
30 minutes?
Maybe he'll come back.
That's what I was thinking. Why don't they let these Disney characters permanently join your party so you can kind of play how you want, like an RPG?
That would be pretty cool.
Bring Mulan to Beast World?
Yeah. Bring
No.
Jack Skellington to
Yeah.
the land of dragons.
Yeah. Don't you go to these worlds and solve these people's problems? What's the matter with them being like, all right, you come help me now. We got to save the world.
What if Beast falls in love with Mulan instead of Belle? That would damage the whole time-space continuum.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm sorry, listeners, that I keep harping on what this game could have done. I know that's not fun to listen to. I'm going to try to bite my tongue, but I can't. It really hovers in the back of my mind. I actually, since John's gone, I'll take a moment to say that the game I have come around on it some. I am way ahead of the...
Why do you have to wait till John's gone to say that?
You can't admit it to
want John
John.
to know.
I'm just trying to
doesn't
vamp
want to
until
lose
John
face.
gets back, guys. Anyway, I have come around on the game a bit. I'm pretty far ahead. I'm at least a chunker ahead. And, I don't know. I'm rolling along. I've caught up to where I played to last time I played the game.
Well, that's good. So, what happens next? So, we escape the underworld. Like Matt said, Auron's gone. We do run just kind of up. All
They're
you
just
have to do to leave
they're
the underworld
Donald-
is just run up some stairs.
Donald and Goofy are like, where'd he go? And Sora's just like, I feel like he could probably take care of himself. That's it.
Yeah. You get upstairs, and upstairs being, I guess, the real world, and you run into Hercules, and you have a nice little reunion. He asks what you've been up to, and you're like, oh, nothing, just fighting Heartless and exploring worlds. And they do like a bro high five, and Hercules is like, yeah, junior hero's always busy. It's a fun little moment.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. It's good.
They're sporty together. They're jocks.
Yeah.
It makes you do more training with Phil, which... Okay.
So when I was writing the notes, I was just revisiting the cutscenes, and a lot of them in this chunker are just, there's like a screenshot of your characters looking like they're talking to each other, and then just kind of a text scroll that's overlaid over it. That happens in game too, right?
Mm-mm. No, those are the scenes, I think, where they're talking to each other with speech bubbles, but there's no voice acting.
Oh, okay.
So you're missing, since you chose not to play along with the show.
But to listeners, he did finish the game again like a month ago. It wasn't that long ago.
I just reached level 99 with my character like last week, so...
Oh, so you are playing along with the show.
I'm a little bit ahead. So Hercules tells you that there's this thing that can break the underworld curse called an Olympus stone, and you need to find it. And then Phil comes out, and he's like, I can't do Phil's voice. We need to do some training. And then you have to break some pots again. Well, was it pots last time? It was like boxes, I guess.
He's
Try
more
doing
of a Danny DeVito type. I can't do it either.
That was
Pete
just
again.
Pete.
Yeah.
Again. Jim, you gotta thank Frank from Sunny, not Hercules.
Hey, we need to break these pots.
That's pretty good.
Is it?
Thanks.
That doesn't sound like Danny DeVito.
So you wanna be a hero?
I did notice.
Well,
Phil Phil does not have nipples.
Around the block before.
Oh, he doesn't have nipples?
blockheads just like
So
you.
no, I guess that kind of defeats our idea that Hercules got strong from nursing on
Each
Phil's-
and every
Yeah.
one
How
of
does
Daddy Doinkers.
Hercules get his milk?
yeah.
pain aches. For
Maybe
which
from the
there
horse?
ain't no
Yeah, from
ointment.
Pegasus, maybe?
Oh god.
So much for excuses.
That's right, listeners.
Lower
We're
this
suggesting that
kid
he drinks
as
horse semen.
Zeus's. Asking
Gulp,
me to
gulp,
jump
gulp.
into the fray.
That's Hercules.
My answer
So,
is
what happens next?
2 words.
Okay.
So I stop blasting.
You break a bunch of pots.
Horse
This seems
semen.
like it talks about how you can knock smaller pots into bigger pots, but I never really did that. It didn't seem like that was very necessary. Maybe
No, you can
later.
just kind of break the pots. It's not a big deal.
Is there? I don't know if there's a way to lose. Well, you can if you don't.
There's a
smash
time
enough,
limit.
I guess. Yeah. I thought there was a pot goal.
Yeah, there's a pot goal, and you have to break X number of pots. Well, it's like 20 and then 100 in the second round.
This was unnecessary.
Yes, it did feel like a bit of a bullshit minigame, unfortunately.
I've been out to pasture pal, my ambition gone. Content to spend lazy days and to graze my lawn. But you need an advisor. A satyr, but wiser.
That's one of the best songs in that movie.
Can you tell that she had time to walk away with a pen and a piece of paper and quickly sketch out a rhyme scheme for this?
it is a great song.
It is a wonderful song. Sorry, I'm looking back here. So Phil stream. Okay. Hades shows up and then says, hey, Meg got lost in the underworld again, or maybe Hades kidnapped her. He's very coy. Hercules goes to jump on Pegasus, but Hades says, oh, you gotta fight this Hydra that just showed up. Hercules asks Sora if Sora can handle Hades while he fights the Hydra.
Why wouldn't he let Sora stay and fight the Hydra?
We skipped over a key piece of plot here in that Hercules reveals while he's talking to Pete says something about the Keyblade, And Hades is like, can that key unlock anything? And Pete's like, yes. And he wants to use it to unlock the other the Underworld Coliseum. Which has a name. I don't remember what it is.
He has his own Colosseum, but it was too bloody and violent, so Zeus shut it down.
Too spicy.
Yep, too spicy. And so he's like, I have a plan to get the Keyblade, and then he does his little Hades smoke illusion, and it's Megara.
Megara?
So he's going to use Meg to get this seal broken.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this needs a woman's touch. Which was his original plan in the first film as well, so he's just not a huge ideas guy.
No, he's got one go-to plan.
So Hercules is like, I'll stay here and fight the Hydra. You guys go find Meg. And he also tells Pegasus, go find Meg, and Pegasus flies away, even though there's a staircase that goes directly to the underworld right behind you. But Pegasus just flies away.
Horses can't walk downstairs.
He had to build up speed to fly down.
Do you
might
ever
be
see
true.
horses going up or down flights of stairs, Jim? Because I haven't.
I've seen mules stuck at the top of spiral staircases.
Really?
Have you?
Yes.
Where?
Google that. Just Google it.
Yeah, cows
okay,
famously
right now.
cannot go
I
downstairs.
didn't mean right now.
Which is how you get that famous prank of leading a cow to the second floor, and then you have to figure out how to get it down because the cow cannot go downstairs, only up.
It's funny because you have to rip the wall off your house and build a ramp for the cow to come down.
It's hilarious.
It wastes a lot of labor and time and expensive product and expensive
Materials.
Materials. Thank you, God.
Can horses go downstairs?
Did you
Horses
Google
are
it?
capable of climbing stairs as long as they have a shallow and wide steps that aren't too slippery or steep. Most horses do fine when it comes to climbing stairs, but have difficulty when it comes to going down them. As a horse descends stairs, they are unable to see their feet.
Everyone wants to go to old castles and climb up to the parapets, but every time I've done it, it's been these crazy stone staircases with no railing, and it's a nightmare. Like, you think that
They're
old castles would be
terrifying.
so fun, but they are dangerous and nightmarish.
They're awful. I want everyone to know that a suggested question, sometimes when you Google a question, it gives you some other things you might want to know, is it bad to walk downstairs?
Okay. That's weird. It's a little weird.
You guys think it's bad to walk downstairs?
No.
Only
Yeah.
when mommy and daddy are fighting.
Oh.
Too real.
Only when the killer is already in the house.
Oh.
I don't know. You never want to go upstairs when the killer's in the house because it's a lot harder to get out.
But
True.
if you're already upstairs, you don't want to go down the stairs, the one way downstairs,
But then
inside the house. You got to go out a window.
Somehow the killer will already be outside and stabs you the second you think you're safe.
People
It's
often
because there are
seem
two
to
of them.
People
Like
often seem
twist,
to
spoiler.
break their ankles when they hit the ground. But if it's one story, guys, you can make that leap pretty easily.
Okay, Matt. Well, let's go get the camera outside the Square Roots house. Why don't you show us that you will not twist or break your ankle doing this?
Okay, yeah, let's do it. And on tonight's episode of Jackass, you can jump off of a one story and be fine.
You know, I have a hard
can.
time going down like tall sets of stairs because I'm just so physically terrible at things.
Is it bad to go downstairs?
But I'm saying, one story, you can dangle yourself off the roof and you've got like a 6-foot drop.
The dangle is the key.
Yes, it is. That's my point. My point is not that you would like take a running leap like a psychopath.
Well, don't
But
you
you
want to do
can-
that? Like if you have a horizontal velocity, doesn't that help break the impact of the fall? Because you can sort
And then you can do one of those cool action movie somersaults when you
Yeah,
land.
exactly.
Yeah. You want to get the horizontal velocity and then just do a belly flop right into the ground. I think
You want to do almost like a shallow dive to where your face breaks your fall, and then you just slide across.
Another
like
tip
that.
is don't think that you could land in some bushes and that they will break your fall, because what they will do is
stab you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never thought bushes looked particularly soft or capable of breaking falls.
I was my friend and I were walking
in your backyard
through-
wrestling days.
We were walking through downtown St. Petersburg one night, and he was very intoxicated, and there was some like waist-high bushes on the side next to the sidewalk, like a nice long deep patch of them, not like just a bush. Anyway, and he did like turn around and fall backwards, thinking that it would be like a soft, pillowy landing on these bushes, and he did get very cut and stabbed.
that
Minor
sounds
stabs.
awful.
Minor stabs.
Y'all remember several years ago?
I mean, it was pretty
years and
hilarious
years
to me, if we're being honest.
years and years and years ago, there was this very trendy book that was around in all the stores, and it was like the Action Hero Handbook, and it told you how to do various dumb things, like if you have to fall from more than 2 stories, here's how to land, and if you have
I think you're thinking of the survival handbook.
Yeah.
I had that. That was a fun little thing to peruse through.
It was a fun little thing, and it probably told you how to get down from that 2nd story, so get yourself on eBay or whatever and find that old book and check it out. Don't listen to us. We don't know. I can fly.
What?
Okay, we got derailed here talking about
little
coming off
bit.
of roofs. The least exciting thing we could be talking about
Wait, I
on
have
a
a roof
podcast.
story. When I was a kid, I got on top of the roof of my house to like fix the satellite, because the satellite needed to be like corrected, and then I realized, because I climbed up from the porch, that I had no way to get down. So I was like, I can just jump it. So I just jumped, and I landed flat on my feet, and my knees came up. And I hit my head on my knee and knocked myself out. I was unconscious in my yard for a minute.
Oh boy.
Boy.
That's not
How
good.
did we get this far into a conversation about jumping off roofs? And before Jim admits that this has happened to him, and he has
I was a little,
first-hand
I
knowledge
was a
of
little
what
roof
happens.
boy as a kid. I used to go across the street to the middle school that I attended when I was a child, and on the weekends when nobody was around, and you could just like climb up on the roofs of the middle school. And I would
What'd you do up there?
Just run around with my friends. Like I kind of showed everybody how to do it, and we all just kind of ran around on the rooftops.
We're the roof boys.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know. We were fucking playing imagination games or whatever. We were kids. I was in fucking like 6th grade.
I had a friend in middle school whose mother worked at a church that had you could get onto the roof, but it was like a peaked roof. It wasn't flat, but we'd still go out there and then just sort of like lie there, and it was right next to the freeway, so we would just watch the cars go by and chit-chat.
Okay. Sora goes back to the underworld and sees Phil on the ground. He has been beat up by the organization guy. You get a scene of Hercules fighting the Hydra, and it does look like he wins. There's a lot of decapitation in this chunker.
Yeah.
Like, surprisingly, you see neck stumps. I didn't think that a E for everyone rated game would have neck
When
stumps.
you beat the
Hydra's
Hydra, it has like 6
famously
wiggly
gets its head cut off.
neck stumps that are
Yeah.
really gross.
But the Hydra does get its heads cut off in Hercules, right?
It does.
We've never cut a head off a Hydra.
Well, yeah, but that's what you do.
You got to crush it with a landslide.
Well, you
Right.
can cut its head off if you burn the stump afterwards.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, so they don't sprout a new head.
Where's Donna Faraga to seal this deal?
But he also looks very, very tired. You go further into the underworld and you run into this organization guy, and he takes off his robe, and it's like a blonde guy with a super fashionable
He's
haircut.
like a rat tail, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's like some kind of faux hawk rat tail thing, shaved on the sides. He's like, "Hey, Roxas, what's up?" And Sora's like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, Roxas, what's going on?"
He's like, who the hell is Roxas? What are you talking about?
And he's like, well, I've got orders about this. Hold on. And he goes through his pockets, unfolds his orders like, okay, if calling him Roxas doesn't work, I do have to be aggressive to awaken Roxas. And this is the guy who has stolen the Olympus stone. That's who they're chasing after. That's the whole point of this stuff. Because it got stolen. And then he's like, okay, well, I guess I gotta fight you. I like this guy. He's like,
I like him too.
He's really not interested in fighting Sora. He's just doing his job.
He's sweet.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't seem like he doesn't want to hurt Sora. He just wants to bring out Roxas.
Yeah, he just misses his pal Roxas.
Mm-hmm. So you do fight him. He does bring out... This is something that you should definitely note. When you fight him, he takes out his weapon, which is, according to Jiminy's journal, a sitar.
Is that what they're going to call it?
It looks like a big electric guitar.
But made of water. Is it an SEA tar? Like a sitar?
Well, they spelled it SITAR, but I like your pun. I think that works nicely.
I think it's much closer to a sitar.
This is one thing this game does do that I think is maybe not super great. I don't think it ever says who D-Mix is. It only, the only way that I knew his name was from Jiminy's journal.
No, it doesn't say his name. I only knew because one of the cutscenes was titled, like, Demix Revealed or something like that.
Like, this guy shows up. He does.
I feel like it does like a whole Power Rangers introduction where he like.
That would be cool if it did
And
that
his
for all
name-
the organization guys that show up.
It sure
it
does
does.
not do that. You just beat this guy. He's got a guitar. He calls you Roxas, and then he uses his water guitar to summon water ghosts that you gotta beat a certain amount of to beat him.
Mm-hmm. But you can grab them and swing them around by their
This is a
watery
fun-
ghost hair.
It is fun.
Fun little ghost fight, I thought. So he leaves this stone behind and, heads out. He's the one who tells you, I think, he's like, oh yeah, so when like strong people die, they can leave these abdominal syncopations, which are like, and you're like, oh, like that book we found in the other room. He's like, yeah, that's one of them, right? The abducted, symphony. You know what I'm talking about, Jim?
The absent silhouette.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the abscessed sycophant.
Right. That's it. And he's like, yeah, so that contains the souls, I guess, of dead people. And so I was like, oh, okay. Well, they sort of hint that there's one right there. So I'll go back and do that, at level 18 or 19 or whatever I was. It was very difficult. I got halfway through. So this fight, you go to the book and you go inside the book and there's this like magician guy and he's got a book, and then like Donald gets sucked into a book, and then Goofy gets sucked into a book, and then it's just like the beginning of Reading Rainbow, except then you're inside books, and then it uses a bunch of like synonyms and you have to figure out the good ones. I guess it's like tough for kids because they might not know what all these words mean. But you gotta find the one.
Sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. I'm reading Rainbow.
So, Jim, while I describe this, why don't you look up who I was fighting here? Because this is someone. Was it from like the DS? Was the from the DS Kingdom Hearts, and he was from the GBA Kingdom Hearts.
Let's take a look. So the one you fight, if you do the absent silhouette in the underworld, you fight Zexion.
Zexion.
Sexion?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like a Twinkie nerd. He's kind of a Vanessa boyfriend.
Yeah, it's the book guy.
Keep talking.
So, Vanessa, did you do this fight?
No.
it's kind of neat because you get trapped in a book and you can't do anything. You can move and that's it. And all your actions in the corner in the menu have turned into different synonyms for things. And so you're going to look for ones that are like liberate or extricate or things like that sound like get out. But there's other ones that can mean like bonuses and treasures. So it drops more things or healing.
That does sound pretty cool. I love to battle with words, like a rap battle.
Unfortunately, it's also just really difficult. Like he's got a lot of health, and you got to go back in that book a few times. It's a tough fight. I'm going to try it again. It was really neat. I think it's definitely my favorite boss fight and the most challenging one, but it's a little too challenging for Johnny. I think I was
well, you got to find out which book he's in, right?
Yeah, and you have to regain control of your commands using synonyms, and then fight him in the book world, and then you can get out and fight him in the real world again. But
I like that your party members can also get sucked into the books.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a cool fight. I will try it again later when I'm a bit more leveled. And, okay, I got a question for you. There's something that happened a couple of times where I was doing a drive, but the drive didn't work right, and I turned it to Shadow Sora instead of Drive Sora. What was up with that?
Yeah, so there is I don't remember the odds, but there is a chance that when you activate a drive form, you can turn into Anti-Sora, which is like which is a drive form that I believe is exclusive to the Final Mix version. And you can't level it up or anything, but it is pretty powerful. It has some powerful attacks.
Okay, because I got very confused.
Anti-Sora.
Yeah. It's actually very frustrating when you're grinding your drive form levels and he turns into Anti-Sora and you waste like 7 drive gauges on this stupid Anti-Sora. It gets very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. So I would recommend doing that later. So you go back and can now defeat Hades. So you get to the room where Meg is sealed. It does have a keyhole. Sora unlocks it with his big old key. You run to the spot where the seal was and you find Meg inside with Hades, and Pete is there too.
And you gotta fight old Pete.
So you do a Pete fight. Hercules shows up to save the day. He calls down Pegasus and says to meet him back at the Colosseum. Sora offers to go back up with Hercules. Pete fights and runs away. Hades says he's having a great day because I guess the evil Colosseum is unlocked.
Yeah, so Hades tricked them by putting like Meg's prison in the same seal as his Colosseum. So when Sora unlocked it, it freed Meg, but also unsealed his Colosseum.
Bum, bum, bum.
And you remember in that cutscene where Hercules defeated the Hydra by cutting off its head?
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that he didn't defeat the Hydra by cutting off its head.
Yeah.
Surprise.
That's just what I was saying. Never ever cut a head off a Hydra.
So you do go back up there, and the Colosseum is totally destroyed. And Hercules is very upset because he's failed, and he has to sit this one out. And then Meg's like, oh wait, no, that's after.
It's pretty funny how every time they show the Colosseum, there's like crowds cheering and stuff, but all the steps are empty.
Yeah, I do like, there's an implication here that the Hydra has killed everyone in the Colosseum because Hercules is like, I left all these people unprotected, and he's very sad about it. And I thought, all those people are dead, I guess.
But that's the thing is that Hercules, it's like a Jacob's Ladder scenario, except he thinks that he's fighting, but it's all in his head. Is that a Jacob's Ladder scenario? I guess it's not.
No, that's more of a crazy person scenario.
John! That's very judgmental.
There's got to be a story where someone thinks
the C word.
There's got to be a scenario where someone thinks they're fighting bad guys, monsters, but they're not monsters. Like in there's that
Shutter
movie about
Island.
It. Ooh.
What is that, John? I think I know what movie you're talking about, where the person sees the people. Well, that's almost like a Silent Hill plot, right? Isn't that like the plot of Silent Hill, 2 or something?
There's the one with the guy with the kids, and he tells the kids that he's fighting demons.
Oh, that's Frailty. That's a great movie. Yeah, it's good.
Nope.
Is it a beautiful mind scenario, I guess?
Or like, there's a bit in Silent Hill 3 where you talk about all the monsters you're killing to this guy, and he says, "Oh, they look like monsters to you," which is one of the great lines in that game. Remember that, Jim?
What about Alan Wake? Isn't that sort of what's up with him?
No,
Okay.
they
I
are
never
real.
saw the end.
No, they're real. Bad spoilers, I guess.
But they're real. What do they call them in Control? Something.
The hiss.
No. But they called the events like they had an acronym.
AWE, Altered
That's
World
right.
Event.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Alan Wake is an altered world event.
It is, and I like that AWE also can stand for Alan Wake Event.
Great point. Moving on.
All right, so now you do get to fight the Hydra. I did not quite get the mechanics for a bit. So Danny DeVito's fake Danny DeVito was yelling at me to go jump on the Hydra's back. Like, it only has one voice line for it. So he's like,
It's so good.
jump on the
Get on
Hydra's
his back. Get on his back.
Jump on his back. Jump on his back. Jump on his back. Jump on his back.
Doesn't
So
he yell
fucking
too? He's
annoying.
like, Zara!
Ah, jump on his back.
Yeah.
And if
It
you
was-
do, he lends a hand.
Yep. Well, this is because everyone will come and help. So Pegasus is helping. Meg says she's going to help, but I don't think she did anything for me during the fight. Typical Meg. And I like Vanessa's shocked gasp there.
I'm sure she was cheering you on, doing her best.
So during this fight, you do chop off the heads, and that seems to be how you kill the Hydra in the end, Vanessa.
Never chop off a Hydra's head.
Well, that you did, and you see the little neck stumps
Ooh,
afterwards.
it's so gross. They're like wiggling around. Yeah.
The last part of the boss fight's pretty fun because you're on top of the Pegasus, you're riding it and hacking the heads as you fly around.
That's pretty cool.
It's a fun fight. Hydra, dead.
It's always
Kirk,
fun to remember that the
sad.
Keyblade is not sharp. So when he does this, he is beating the neck apart.
Ugh. Herc is sad. Meg thanks Sora and says to call him if Hades or the Heartless show up again. And then she does say to Sora, well, like, even gods need to rest sometimes. He's like, yes. He gives Hercules he's about to give Hercules the Olympus stone, but then it starts to flash and everyone nods at each other. He throws it up into the air, points his keyblade at it, and shoots the big keyhole. I keep
Laser
saying
light
that.
show.
I keep calling, in the last episode, I kept calling, keyholes keys, and no one called me out on it. So that's good. There's a difference between a keyhole and a key. Like I'm the gatekeeper and I'm the keymaster.
Now we're going to talk about 100 Acre Wood, John.
Right. You go to Merlin's house. Is this where Merlin, tells you to like summon Chicken Little if you're in danger?
No. I
It's
don't
right
think
around
so.
there.
Yes,
Is it?
is. It's after this event,
Okay.
though, I think.
Oh, okay.
So you go back to Merlin's house. You show up to Hollow Bastion, see Heartless running in and out of the house, and Merlin is on his ass. Merlin says he summoned you and he found a book, Pooh's book, in the Zero District. Sora recognizes it, and Donald opens the book and you jump into it. Sora jumps in as well, and only one area is available. Pooh's house. You get to Pooh's house, and you do find you do find Pooh sitting on a log. And Sora asks how he's doing, if he's got enough honey. Pooh says he's doing great and doing maybe my favorite line so far in the game. He's doing his stoutness exercises. I've never identified more. I mean, I'm already like 75% Winnie the Pooh in real life, except I wear pants.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, pants are some kind of gear.
We
Wrestling
live
singlet.
in a house with you, John. You can't.
I'm not I'm a never nude, basically. I hate being naked. Hate it. Hate it. So.
I love it.
Ugh. I know, Vanessa. You like even if you just go in the bathroom, you like put on like a nightgown or one of those like not nightgown, but like one of those old timey things that people put over when they're walking around the house,
like a house coat.
No, it's like a
robe.
White robe. It's not even a robe. It's like a white, big, super long, old timey T-shirt that goes down
like
to your
a gown.
legs.
Like a
dressing
Why would
gown.
I bother? I'm just going to have to take it off again.
I just don't want you. I'm very uncomfortable sharing the house with a always naked person.
Two
That's
are
why you're
real...
not supposed to go into my wing.
That's
you
why
two
the
are a
Squaresoft
real
house is going to
couple.
make such a great sitcom. John's a never nude. Vanessa's an always nude.
Yeah.
That tension there is where comedy comes from.
It's true. All right, so Winnie the Pooh.
Which one of you is Cousin Balky?
Who is the? I feel like if anyone's the Balky, it's gonna be Matt and Jim are the Balkies, and
fuck?
Vanessa and I
I'm
are
pretty
the
sure that
cousin
John
Larrys.
and
Is
I
a
are the
window
normal
into your
ones.
mind.
We're so wacky.
And how you see us as others, and that's why you can't even tell the two of us apart.
Yep.
Vanessa actually
Yes,
cannot
Matt?
tell us apart.
So I really do identify with Pooh doing his stoutness exercises. It's great. And then he suddenly freezes, and Sora is kicked out of the book. This is much like when we are playing unnamed multiplayer shooty game, and Sora has to log back into the 100-Acre Wood, and suddenly everything kind of starts over.
Well, that's the way a book works.
Well, but before you reboot the book, you do have to fight some Heartless attacking, and they do
Yes,
steal
he
the
falls
book.
out because some Heartless are attacking, and I think before Merlin left, wasn't he like, keep an eye on the book? And then Sora's like, I'm going to keep an eye on it from the inside.
Well, he's like, I'm going to tell you about this book. He's like, but I need to go find Leon and everybody else first because they also need to hear it. And then you decide to jump in the book while you're waiting.
Right. And they're like, think that's going to be okay? And you're like, yeah, Merlin will be fine.
There's a shot here that I wish there was a gif of Donald holding up the book, and he's like, it'll be fine. And there's just it cuts to Sora, and it's like a close-up on his face, and he just nods, and with his dead eyes goes, great!
You do notice that the book's like got slashes on the cover now, and there's pages torn out, and so you go back in there, and almost everything in the book is blank. You go back to Pooh's house. Pooh doesn't remember. You say, hey, Pooh, and he's like, oh, hello there, somebody I don't know.
Pete?
It's a quieter Pete.
No.
And I can't. I cannot. I love Winnie the Pooh's voice. Also, some millennial came into my stream while I was streaming this and said that they found Pooh's voice disturbing and creepy. And I was
Really?
like, who could find Pooh's wonderful, soothing voice disturbing and creepy?
It is a very soothing, sweet voice.
Yeah.
Well, Winnie the Pooh was originally a British character, so some people dislike the fact that they Americanized the characters for the Disney cartoon.
That makes sense. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Mite, Winnie the Mite. On
So-
the British tea
None of
and
us can start
crumpets,
singing
Winnie
without
the
Vanessa
Mite.
taking that as the go-ahead to sing an entire fucking song.
Oh, whatever. If we try singing a song you like and are good at singing, you'll over-sing us with your good singing just because you don't like our bad singing.
I don't sing good. And also, I don't know any songs.
So, you go back to Pooh. He doesn't remember you. All he wants to do is wonderful stoutness exercises. So Sora's like, oh, we should probably go back out and ask Merlin about it. And Merlin's like, oh, so you couldn't wait for me. You had to go back into the book. Pooh has
Why
lost
are
his...
you such a horny boy? That's Merlin's accent, right? Is that how Merlin sounds?
Pretty close.
He's sort of an English wizardy
Sort
type.
of a horny lad. Had to get in that Pooh
He's a
book,
child.
huh? He's a teen.
That's true. Heartless says stolen pages from the book.
Hang on to the glory at my right hand, here laid to rest as our love ever longed. With truth on the shores of compassion, you seem to take the premise of all these songs. Take it, Matt.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I was trying to sing a song that you like and are good at singing.
You Googled a random Coheed and Cambria song, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
I tried to go out with the lion's roar.
Imagine trying to do karaoke to a Coheed and Cambria
I
song.
want to
You can't.
go
That's
south.
part of what
makes
and
Coheed
some
good.
more.
It's just not that kind of music.
Well, I don't worry and I don't fret. There ain't no law
He's got that
against
new
it
album coming out,
yet.
Jim, and I just can't bring myself to care.
Oh, for like the Prize Fighter Inferno?
Yeah, man, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I
Put
listen
out
to
another
some of
Coheed
it,
album, bud.
and it's not my thing.
So Sora says he's going to go about finding the pages and return to Pooh's world when he can. So we will be back. Then we do leave and we get a cutscene, a very shocking cutscene where Minnie is going to see the cornerstone and she turns to who was in the castle with her?
Daisy, I think.
Was it Daisy?
No, isn't it Chip and Dale?
Yeah, that's it. She turns to
Yeah.
Chip and Dale and she's like, hey, why are there all these crazy, creepy thorns all around my castle?
Well, no, she's in the library looking for like a photo album. She mentions looking for a photo album. And then Chip and Dale run up and they're like, there's something wrong in the hall of the cornerstone. There's all these thorns around. And then she goes down there and looks, and it is indeed full of like these big black thorny vines.
Yeah.
Y'all, let's not gloss over how cute Minnie is in this game. She is dressed up in her Queen Minnie outfit. She has a pink and red dress on, and it's perfectly round, like a cupcake. And it has a big bow in the back, and she has a little crown on her head. And the crown has like a red gem that is in the shape of a Mickey ears. I guess it's like 3 red gems in the shape of the Mickey Mouse symbol.
So, oh yeah, also we should mention Maleficent is back, and we got a cutscene of Maleficent asking Pete to catch her up. She's like, so I've been gone for a while, and I guess I got murdered by some children and a duck. And
Well, the thing that confused me is that she does reference like her plans from the first game, which, if you remember in the first game, there were a lot of cutscenes where there was like a cabal of Disney bad guys with Maleficent leading them. There's like Oogie Boogie and Jafar and Hades and whoever else. And she is like, what happened to them? And Pete says something like, oh, they're, doing their own thing. And so, and then he's also like, oh, that kid with the Keyblade is still around. And she's like, oh, well, maybe you should catch me up on what's going on.
So you head off to the castle to go hang out with her. Is this where you have to fight that stupid pirate ship that took me like 20 minutes? Like, I almost died in that.
Pirate ship?
Like, there's
no, you mean in the gummy ship?
Yeah.
I thought
Was it
that
one
was
of
on the
these?
way to Pirate World, but maybe I'm
no,
wrong.
I haven't been to Pirate World yet. One of these I had to
okay.
fight this stupid ship, and it took me so long. I
Maybe you need
almost
to upgrade your
died.
gummy ship, bud.
I really don't want to, Jim.
But you always collect the next best ship up. So as long as you're using the most recent ship model you have, you shouldn't have a problem.
But you didn't see the stream. You didn't see how long it took him to figure out how to even launch the gummy ship.
Oh, that did take me like 10 minutes. I was like, where's the launch button? It's because I got into the engineering menu, and I should have just gone straight to the launch menu.
The gummy ship custom menu in here is like indecipherable. Like trying to figure out how to make your own gummy ship it's just too much.
So it did take me a very long time. You get to the Disney castle, which I have to say, there's a lot of money spent on this castle. Like, they are living in the lap of luxury. And what do they contribute to society, this aristocracy? Nothing.
What does Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse contribute to society? That's your question?
Yeah, she's just walking around in her fancy dress and expensive crown.
But like Mickey's like a ninja warrior. He's out like saving the universe with his
While
keyblade.
we bankroll his lavish lifestyle.
His Cadillac gummy ship.
They don't need this palace. What do they need a palace for? They're rats.
Mice, John.
Well, and
They're
particularly
mice.
considering what we're about to find out, like what it used to be, which was like a thriving little wharf and
they
fishing
did.
village. But
They
now it's just
did.
this castle.
Tear down a village. Like Clara's gone. All of Pete.
Clara's bones are under the foundation of the castle.
It was not a village. It was a field. It was an empty field.
No, they call it a town, and you have to save the town at one point. Well, in one of the sort of side cartoons.
Yeah, but those are like portals to a whole different area.
We'll get there when we get there. Anyway, so you get to the castle. You gotta go rescue Queen Minnie. She's holed up in the library. You gotta fight your way through like some ants. And, then you're like, why are there Heartless in the castle? And Minnie says, I need to show you something. It's in the audience chamber and you gotta go around. There's these like weird, I don't know, water jugs, pitcher things that attack you and try to smash Minnie as you escort her around while Donald and Goofy are going to tell people to hide.
Mm-hmm. Happily, Minnie does have a powerful faith attack.
She does. That attack is pretty good. And, it's funny. So you get to the audience chamber, the ridiculously loud, like this is some weird despot dictator kind of, no one needs an audience chamber that ostentatious and large. It's such a waste of resources. It brings nothing back to the people that are obviously financing this. I just get so mad at the aristocracy.
Mickey is not an aristocrat. Mickey works for every penny and scrap of cheese he has.
Do you think anyone becomes that wealthy without stomping on the rights and the productions of these people?
I like the idea of Mickey as like the Daniel Plainview of There Will Be Blood, where like eventually he just becomes so rich and isolated that he's just like screaming at people and shooting things in his hallways.
So this audience chamber is full of these like pitcher things that are trying to squash you. And the game makes it out like, oh no, can you get Minnie there in time? It's like, yeah, I just asked her to like do her faith thing every 2 seconds and she killed everything in the room. It's fine. Like she didn't
I
really
thought
even
this
need
was
me there.
annoying.
It just takes a
I
while.
also found it annoying.
'Cause you have
All
to
of
keep-
these like keep somebody's from getting too damaged things. I just fucking barely passed.
It's tough.
For me, she killed everybody. She was destroying people. It was pretty funny. Did anyone summon Chicken Little at this point? Because you do get Chicken Little.
I have
will
not
say
summoned
that
Chicken Little yet.
I played through this game twice in the last few months, and I can say confidently I never used to summon one time. And so what I'm focusing on right now is going through and leveling up all my summons.
Wow, how
Chicken
boring.
Little. Do you? If you level up Chicken Little, do you get another summon? Because the game seems to suggest that.
You get summons throughout the course of the game. I think you get 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
There's Chicken Little, Genie, and Stitch, I think.
Cool. Thank
Chicken
you for
Little's,
spoiling all of that information.
Summon gives you the instead of drive or limit, it gives you one called FPS mode. And then you turn into it, and it's just like turns into a Chicken Little's viewpoint, and it's a first-person shooter, and you can shoot little Chicken Little bullets at people, and it's got inverted controls because it's an old PS2 game. And I'm just trying to aim, and just like the camera's swinging all over because it's those horrible inverted controls. That is
Sounds
my
terrible.
experience with the Chicken Little mode. It's kind of cute. I mean, Chicken Little's a cute
Yeah.
character, but.
Kind
I
of
never
an
saw
under.
that movie.
Me
Me
neither.
neither.
Chicken Little is voiced by Zach Braff, right?
Oh, really? I feel like this
I
game
believe so.
came out, or at least was in development, when Disney thought that was going to be their next big thing.
Was that Disney's first, like, CG movie?
I don't know.
I also do not know.
Like that or Dinosaur? Or is it Dinosaur Pixar?
That's the last dinosaur, and that is a
Yeah.
Pixar film.
I thought it was just
Right?
called Dinosaur.
No.
Well, there's We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, but that's DreamWorks and is
There was
as
the one
Jim-
That
that
is
came
an
out-
amazing film where dinosaurs eat the smart cereal and become geniuses, and I've talked about it on the show before.
There
And
was a dinosaur movie that came out in the 90s that used photos. The backgrounds were like filmed, but the
Jurassic
dinosaurs were
Park.
CG.
It's called
And there-
Jurassic Park.
No, there were talking dinosaurs in it. It wasn't very good.
oh, John,
called
there is a
Barney.
movie called Dinosaur
Yeah.
that was made in 2000.
Yeah.
And it is an
Oh.
American live-action computer animated adventure film, the 39th Disney animated feature.
Yeah, it was the first CG Disney animated feature.
Interesting. They did use actual backgrounds, live-action backgrounds.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. I remember that because I liked seeing CG stuff at the time to sort of see how the technology was coming.
There's a bunch of no names in that movie. It was directed by someone named Ralph Zondag
Ooh.
and stars someone named D.B. Sweeney.
Oh, D.B.
D.B.
Sweeney.
Sweeney's not a no name.
Who's D.B. Sweeney?
Wasn't he in that Topic movie? Topic.
Topic.
Jim, you were thinking of the
Topic.
good dinosaur, not the last
The good
dinosaur.
dinosaur. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
All right.
Topic.
So there. Anyway, back to the castle.
The Cutting Edge. It was called The Cutting Edge, and it is about a figure skater, a female figure skater who somehow can't cut it as a soloist anymore, and a ice hockey player, and they pair them together to be a pairs figure skating couple, and it's amazing.
I saw that movie with Napoleon Dynamite figure skating with someone.
Oh, that's with
Will
Will Ferrell.
Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glory something.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it was.
I'm
That
really
was-
glad we got out of the 2000s and realized Will Ferrell's not that funny.
He is
he's
that funny
fine.
though, and he did then go on to star in several hilarious movies.
Yeah,
like
Step
Step Brothers,
Brothers.
one of the
Jim.
best
Step
goddamn
Brothers
movies ever
is-
made.
But you know what's crazy about Step Brothers is that when it cuts to like Richard Jenkins, who plays Dale's dad, he steals every scene he's in just because he's so much funnier than Will Ferrell is.
That's nonsense.
They're
So
still making those movies, though. They just made that Sherlock and Watson one.
yeah, that was
one
kind of
got like a
unfortunately bad.
0% on Rotten Tomatoes. They said
Real
it's fucking
bad.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched about half of it one day and was like, oof.
Yuck.
Anyway, Will Ferrell actually pretty good. Did make some stinkers though.
I'm not upset with him.
I just don't think he's that funny, really.
Well, everyone knows that I hate comedy, so it's not my cup of tea.
That's true. You only watch period pieces.
That's right.
Jim only likes comedy as done by YouTubers in between screaming about smashing that like and subscribe.
I did tell you guys the other night that I watched Top Secret for the first time, which is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
That's funny. That's a movie that was on Comedy Central so much growing up that I've seen it so many times that I never want to see it again.
It has one of my favorite gags ever where there's like a phone in the foreground that looks really big and the character is in the background and it rings and one of the characters walks up to answer it and it's actually just a giant phone.
I love that kind of stuff.
Stuff like that is fucking hilarious.
All right.
Okay, anyways.
So we
Fill
get
that
back.
car full of popcorn.
We get to her throne, and she wants to go under there because there is a secret entrance to where the cornerstone is, and which she unlocks with her magic ring. And so there's a good joke here. There is a door that she unlocks with her magic ring, and it unlocks a tiny door in the door. That was
Yes,
great.
I love that gag. Where it's like you think this big 50-foot door is about to open, and then just this little mini-sized door opens at the bottom. It's great.
So the cornerstone of light is what keeps the castle safe from the evil that can be on some of the other worlds. And then Maleficent shows up, and she once again is the bombastic diva that whenever he shows up, all the gay Kingdom Hearts lovers are like, Good for her while they're drinking and playing this game.
Yes, Maleficent.
Do it, girl. Yes. Work. I mean, honestly, work. Because she shows up. She's like, I want this castle. I want to fire all of you. This is going to be mine. And I have tainted the cornerstone just so I can take it over. And I will only, and Minnie's like, you have to stop. And she's like, okay, I will stop when this castle is mine. And then she disappears, to which Sora says after she leaves, what a hag.
Rude.
Wow.
There is no reason to go after her appearance just because she's doing something you don't like.
And she is a strong, independent woman in her 50s who looks great and hasn't had the work done, Minnie, that you see plenty of other women get at that age. She's just, and it doesn't even matter if she does. She looks wonderful. It's my point.
Yeah. Plus, she straight up died and came back to life. Let's see how you look after that.
Oh,
Yeah,
whatever. Jesus
exactly.
already did that. Nobody's impressed by that shit anymore. Sora's like, I wonder how many cats she has at home. Right, guys? And then Goofy says something that we can't repeat on the show.
Yeah. Goofy
Goofy says something he has to apologize for.
that Donald's like,
John, you promised you weren't going to do that.
sorry. And everyone's just like shocked at what Donald said. Like, whoa, Donald, whoa. They decide the only person who can help out with this situation is Merlin. So they book it to Hollow Bastion and talk to Merlin. And he's like, oh, well, you know, this is true. I should probably go check this out. And as Donald is talking, it does change locations, and suddenly they are next to the Cornerstone. I love that little scene. It was really funny.
Well, yeah, because it's funny because Donald is like yelling about all this stuff going on with the Cornerstone and they're being heartless in the castle, and then it trails off, and Merlin just teleports them to where all the action is, and then he's like, I can just look at it for myself. Instead of trying to decipher Donald screaming.
Yep. Merlin then conjures up a silver door and says it's a gateway to a special world, and that someone in this world is responsible for what's going on in the castle, and there's going to be another door in there that's identical to this one, and as long as it stays open, the castle's in danger. So you got to find it, and you got to lock it. And this world is very secret and special, and it may tempt you to do something dark, and you must resist the temptation.
I didn't know what this is referring to. I hope you guys can clue me in to what's going on here.
Oh, well, they mention it again at the end. Like, Donald does get sucked into the temptation here.
He wants to change the past.
Yeah. He wants to, bring his book of sports trivia and become super rich or something.
Yeah. What's the name of the book in Back to the Future?
It's a sports almanac.
Sports facts and...
Sports almanac.
Remember.
It's the
It's like
sports almanac.
somebody's
it's the sports almanac.
It's something sports almanac, though. I wish I could remember the name of it. Oh, I gotta Google it.
It's like a world records sports almanac.
This is also when
Gray's
Donald...
Sports Almanac.
Thank you, Jim. This is when Donald has his comeuppance with Daisy. She pops out, doesn't she, to say hello. Daisy also looks great. She's in like a more purpley dress, and Daisy is so thick, double C, that her dress cannot contain her. Her little tail is sticking right out of there.
Wow. I'm surprised they let her wear pants.
Well, she's not wearing pants. She's wearing a skirt.
Oh, that's a good point.
It is Tress MacNeille doing the voice of Daisy and the voice of Minnie. And Tress MacNeille's voice of Minnie is exactly her. She voices Martin Prince in The Simpsons. And it is exactly Martin Prince.
When you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, it does sound like Martin Prince.
Yep.
That's
so
hilarious.
Yeah, they are the same. And she's really like hectoring poor Donald. He's just trying to relax after a hard day at work, and she comes in here with her, oh, you're late for us going to have dinner, and he's like, don't you know how hard I work to keep this family in food in this house.
Wow.
And she's like,
John
you
revealing
can't
some
send a
real.
letter? Mickey sends letters.
It's true. Mickey does send letters. That's
true.
how he's keeping...
but Mickey's the king. Donald's just a servant. Like, he just has to follow this dumb kid around as he
Just
inserts
a
himself.
servant. He's
Yeah, he
the
is.
court magician. There's a
And we
big statue
do
of him
have-
in the throne room.
a gummy ship. We could check in on Daisy literally whenever we wanted.
Well, did you?
No.
Well, maybe if you had, this scene would have played out differently, John.
So you...
Jim, have you played the Good to Daisy playthrough of this game? Where you check in on Daisy in between every mission, and then every time
You
you,
do
run
get a better
across her,
ending.
she's like, "You're
she
a
doesn't
good,
drown.
upstanding."
She doesn't drown herself at the end if you do check in on her.
No, you get the Daisy romance option if you check on her
nice.
enough times.
Oh, okay.
You get to
That's
see
great.
Donald's spiral wiener.
But wait, if you had got a romance option, wouldn't that be for Sora?
Sora
No.
just watches and
Wow,
Sora is a child.
Yeah.
Sora's a
Sora's
teen.
like off to the side, and he's like, "Oh boy, here it comes."
Great callback, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Have you all seen that green porno by, what's her name again? Isabella Rossellini?
Some of it, I think, but not all of it.
There's a great one about being inside a duck vagina and how it's a maze that to ward off the terrifying duck penis. Mm-hmm. I recommend watching all of these bizarre short. Isabella Rossellini is like one of my favorite creators who people underestimated because she was so good looking as a younger woman, but she's actually this insanely creative and talented artist and just always chooses really cool projects to be in. I love Isabella Rossellini.
You know, John, she can be a beautiful young woman and an artist.
Well, no, but people underestimated her and thought she was just like, you know, this hot European lady, but she's
she
actually
got some crappy roles too. But
yeah. But she is wonderful in Alias, her best role. JK. No, she's good in it, though.
Anyway, there's this big old door.
You go through this big old silver door. It looks like remember in N64 times when things looked like reflective metallic and everyone's like, whoa, these graphics. So it kind of looks like that. You go through it into the best part of the game so far, at least. You are in the Timeless River. Let's talk about
it
the
delights
Timeless
me.
River.
I'm so happy. I love
It's Steamboat Willie
it.
Town.
It is not just Steamboat Willie Town. It is so many towns. It is Building a Building Town, Gulliver Mickey Town, Mickey's Fire Brigade Town, and Mickey's Orphan Town.
All of your very favorite old-timey cartoons. It's all black and white. It has old-timey Donald Duck, like from that Wise Little Hen cartoon where the hen's
Yeah.
like, would you help me plant my corn?
I feel like this is the first time the gang changes to match their environment so far in this game, right?
It is, yeah.
It's great.
Sora's got big black dots for eyes, and they all. The only thing that bugged me is that none of them did the like bouncing up and down as they stood in one place, which I really
I wish
expected.
there was like, what do they call that? Like the idle animation. If there was an idle animation where they just started kind of like bouncing as they were standing,
that was
would've
more
been
of
great.
wasn't that more of a Fleischman's cartoon than a Disney cartoon thing? That like crazy bouncing. But I guess they did it in the Disney ones too.
Well, they did it in like Steamboat Willie.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
true.
were doing all the shrugging.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Good
Do you
old-
think that dance was what the third guy in the Phantasmagoria 2 line was doing when he was doing
Yes.
this?
Yes. Or Fleischer Brothers. Sora has this a classic anime look, which is really fun, like sort of Astro Boy style.
Astro Boy, yeah, he
Yes,
does
it
look
looks
very
so
Astro
cool.
Boy.
Goofy's got that really cool, like spindly 30s cartoon arms and the old hobo hat. And Pete has his form from Steamboat Willie with both of them have that steam pipe kind of hat. And Pete looks more like a cat with a big bushy tail.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. Yeah, this is very creative and really neat. So you go through and you are looking for, you see Pete there. You see him go over to the pier and everyone's like, oh yeah, Pete likes to hang out at the pier. I laughed at that. And you go there and, he is talking about a beautiful boat that he does want to keep in good condition. And he's looking for his deckhand Mickey, the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he say that somebody stole his boat?
Yeah, he does. He's like, someone stole my boat.
Oh.
My steamboat.
His poor steamboat. And so things get a little weird here. Like, you see Pete just hanging out there with his cool hat, and he's a cat. And you go and just start wailing on him immediately.
You really just kick the shit out of him.
They're like,
Hey, guy.
"Yeah, get that cat."
Mm-hmm. Also, the cornerstones just hang out in the middle of this land. And you do talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be building Mickey's castle here on top of our town.
Yep.
So we're going to be displaced and gentrified as they build this enormous monument to the plutocracy that runs the Disney kingdom.
But what a kingdom it is. I mean, if it's a wonderful place, does it really matter what the government's like?
Wow. But what about the next generation of government?
You mean like Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
Well, like in Claudius, the Emperor Claudius regrets being such a good emperor because he knows that he's just going to encourage another line of tyrants and should have just ended the emperorship at that point instead of continuing it.
But Mickey Mouse, you see, never dies.
Oh, you say that, but did you notice all the pictures of his ancestors? Or are you claiming that those ancestors were actually Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, those are just pictures of Mickey.
Oh.
In his different
Because
costumes.
someone never dies doesn't mean that they have been alive forever.
Yeah, that's true.
An immortal can be born at any time.
That's true, because in Highlander, Connor MacLeod was born in, Scottish tribal times, whereas Sean Connery's character was born in ancient Egypt over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah,
By the
you
way,
see?
Sean Connery, Egyptian immortal.
Noted Egyptian Sean Connery.
Have you watched Highlander 2 since the last time we spoke? Is that what you
No,
did all
but
day?
I have watched the first Highlander. I watched it today.
Oh, I really want to
man.
watch. So, should I watch it, Jim?
Yes, it's great.
What did you think?
Sean Connery's name is Ramirez.
Yeah.
But
The Egyptian?
Yes, but no, it's actually great. And Clancy Brown, amazing in that movie.
How is the soundtrack?
Sound by Queen, it's incredible. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think Jim and I should have like a series of bonus episodes where we watch like 70s weird movies like that, The Visitor and Zardoz and stuff.
I
love
have
that.
a suggestion, which is which version of the Highlander 2 should you watch?
Are there different versions of it?
Yes.
I didn't know there were different versions.
Yes, there are.
Is there an X-rated version?
No, but there is one that's wild. Like, I believe that they are wildly different.
Is
gonna Google it.
Christopher Lambert in Highlander 2?
Yes, and Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, he is in Highlander 2, huh?
Yup.
Well, if anyone wants to join us for next month's bonus episode, Jim and I are going to take a 70s cinema break.
John, let's find some obscure like action sci-fi movie from the 70s and watch it.
That sounds great. We do have to watch Runaway at some point too, where Bert? No, it's the other guy. The guy, Magnum PI. Tom Selleck fights
Tom
robotic
Selleck.
spiders.
Yeah.
I do want to see that one too.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Talk about the River of Time.
Okay, so we do so you see Pete, you do fight Pete. They realize they've beaten up the wrong Pete, and so they go back to the hill, and then there's Heartless who jump into these weird 4 windows from the past. There's also a 5th window, which they do watch. So they each one's like an old timey movie presentation. This one shows Pete's desire, in the future of returning to a simpler life as a steamboat captain. And actually, as you finish each of these levels, it gives you a little bit more of this story of basically why Pete wanted to go back to, the simpler times in his life as he gets harangued by Maleficent, who is
that's not really what happens though. Like, he finds a door and is like, we can go fuck this place up. And then at the same time, he's like, it would be nice to go back and see stuff. But also at the same time, he's like, I'm going to go ruin this place.
Well, I think his wish to go back to a simpler time is what creates the door. Anyway, so, there are 4 windows, each of them a classic Mickey short. Like, Vanessa.
Yes.
Building a building. What happens if you go into this window?
It's great. You, find yourself on the skeleton of a skyscraper. It is in the process of being built, and you are attacked by a whole bunch of, black and white old-timey cartoon drills. And, you're like on this swinging platform, and you can do a special attack where you jump up and you hit the rope to like knock everyone off and things like that. It's wonderful. And after you fight all of these, you hear these like sort of squishy footstep sound. It's like,
Yep.
and Mickey himself runs out. It's old black and white Mickey, and everyone's like, the king! And he just runs up to Stora, grabs his hand, gives him a hearty handshake. He's like, and then runs away. And it's so delightful. I want it to happen in every video game. Like, anytime you accomplish anything, Mickey needs to come out, give you a hearty handshake, and run away.
What happens if it happened in real life? Would you be scared or would you be okay with it?
I would be okay with it. I love Mickey, especially this version of Mickey. If you haven't ever seen the old black and white Mickey cartoons, he is a real rascal. He is out to cause trouble and have hijinks and get into pranks. Mickey. He's a chaos agent, and he is a delight.
What happens in Gulliver Mickey, the second window?
Someone else say.
You get to a town, and
you destroy a town like a fucking kaiju. You Godzilla a town. It's great.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to not Godzilla town because it's being attacked by these. No, this one's easy. All you have to do is keep the enemies stunned by whacking the tower. If you whack the tower, it shoots the enemies with cannons that stun the enemies. So then you can just go in and knock them. And anytime they wake up, you just hit the tower again. So basically, they never damage the town.
Yeah, I never really understood. I mean, this one is probably the most the easiest to understand, but the mayhem meter, I never understood what contributed to the growth of the mayhem meter.
It doesn't seem to be buildings damaging knocked down, town. Because I knocked that town down all the way.
Yeah.
And still passed.
And then you save the town, and who comes out, Vanessa, to shake your hand?
Mickey!
Yay! The next one is...
He's all silent film Mickey, so he just shakes your hand and has that big doofy grin on his face.
One of the two, it's inspired by one of the 2 Mickey firefighter shorts, the firefighters and Mickey's Fire Brigade. And there are fires, which are like anthropomorphic fires heading towards, a apartment building that you do have to fight. And, so basically you have to hold off throughout this time limit and defeat all the fires without the apartment building being burnt down, based on, those 2 shorts. And then after you do it, Mickey comes out again, shakes your hand, and then runs off. And finally, Mickey's house, which is decorated for Christmas, like the 1931 short, Mickey's Orphans. And, there's a lot of chaos going on in this house as, everything's flying around and the Heartless are there, and you're trying to, kill all the Heartless before all the presents and Christmas trifles get destroyed.
Yeah, there's like a black hole essentially in the middle of the room.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty fun.
This was the best one. This is also like just a pro gamer tip. This is a great place to level up your drive form that is predicated on killing Heartless. Because there are a lot of Heartless here, and they all die very easily. So I don't remember what form it is. It might be the Wisdom form or the Valor form. This is a great place to level that up.
Ah, cool. And so each time after you get your handshake from Mickey, you do get another scene showing just how mean Maleficent is to Pete. She's always tearing him down. And I love that these scenes are from inside Pete, like through Pete's eyes.
Through
So
Pete's
you
eyes,
see his
yeah.
hands in front of him. And he just gets so upset by this harassment. He just wishes he was back in time, piloting his steamboat, no cares in the world.
She's very mean to him.
She is.
I
very mean.
like innocent Pete, who's
Me
just
too.
trying to figure it out.
Just wants to be a good kitty.
But he has fucked up every mission he's been sent on so far in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty competent at like putting Heartless in different worlds. Like he's pretty good at that. But like,
Probably gets somebody else to do the recruit somebody into being a Heartless thing.
yeah,
'Cause Pete can't
every
manage it.
time he tries to involve another Disney villain into his schemes, is when things go sour.
He just wants to be a good kitty.
I'm not super into those. They're not pop. What are the pop figures called again?
Funkos.
Yeah, the Funko Pops. But there is a Funko Pop of Pete in his leather outfit that I do want to get because it's adorable.
The other day I was cleaning out my closet and I came upon I have some Kingdom Hearts figurines. I don't have a Pete, but I do have a Sora in one of his dry forms one that I'm very proud of, that I'm going to display somewhere.
Prominently.
Nerd alert!
Put it on your
Prominently.
desk at work.
Prominently. Well, my desk at work is the same desk I'm recording this podcast on, so
Oh, that's right.
thanks, COVID.
Yeah, like in the back of my car, staring out the hatch of my car is a Mr. Rossetti stuffed animal.
I seen it.
It's
I seen
great.
it with my own eyes.
Back when we could travel. Okay, so you are suddenly aghast to see the cornerstone is missing. They managed to catch up with it at the pier. Pete from the current times has it, and he also has stolen Pete's beloved steamboat to transport it. And Sora, then you get this fight against modern day Pete, where you're like hanging off the mast of the steamboat and swinging around and trying to break the cage that the cornerstone is in. This is pretty fun. It's a fun little fight. At which point, when you do defeat Pete here and he trundles off back to the current time, you do see that Mickey the whole time was just napping in the back of the steamboat, like past Mickey. It was a cute little shot.
Yeah.
And then he says that he will. Before that, you do fight Pete, and old Pete does join you in fighting new Pete.
This is great. Why couldn't he be a
That's super
permanent party member?
fun.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be a summon or something, but he is not.
That would be great. Oh man, if old Pete was a summon, that would be amazing. And he was just like old timey boxing people.
Yeah,
That would be great. Yeah.
So he's
Square
thrashed.
Enix, call Square Roots. We can make this game better.
You destroy Pete. He runs back to the present. And then Sora takes out his stupid Keyblade, shoots a laser into the door, and locks it so that people can never return to the past. Although before you leave, you do, Donald is like, hey, guys, before we go, how about I just change a few things and go get the Gray Sports Almanac? Cause I want to be super rich. And you literally have to drag Donald. Well, I mean, in the cutscene, they drag Donald back into the present. He's very upset. But they would never, ever, destroy the timeline.
Sure they wouldn't.
They have to obey the Prime Directive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's well. We'll talk about that. There's a temporal law, and then there's a Prime Directive. They're
That
not
is
the same
true.
thing.
Good point. The Prime Directive is what is why they change outfits when they go to different worlds.
Yes. Yeah. Where are we playing to next time, Jim?
Let's see. So next time we will be playing through all we can at this point of Atlantica. we will be playing through the first round of Port Royal, Halloween Town, and Agrabah.
Oh, boy. I'm so excited. Is Atlantica Vanessa's favorite part of this next chunker?
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah, I thought
love to, because the song is so terrible. If Vanessa could do a rendition of it on the next episode, I would die. I would die.
I would be honored to kill you in that fashion.
It is one of the worst, maybe the worst Disney song that you've ever heard.
Ooh.
It is terrible, 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 terrible.
Aren't there some really bad Disney songs on like those direct-to-videos later sequels?
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely are. This one it barely qualifies as a song.
Mm-hmm.
It is like they try to jam in like game tutorial, a bunch of mermaid shit, into what is barely a melody. And it's a fucking disaster. I'm so excited for you to hear it, John, because it is terrible.
All right, let's venture very quickly into my my little corner here. Talk about bullshit minigames.
Sure.
I did assemble a puzzle. I like assembling a puzzle. They're not very difficult.
How do you do that?
It's like buried 8 layers into Jiminy's journal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then you can get an item for completing each puzzle.
Oh, boy, an item.
And you pick up the puzzle pieces around each world.
I will say that the rewards for the puzzle pieces, like I always wait until the end game to do this kind of stuff. And what you get are mainly, like, spoiler alert, you get recipes, like synthesis recipes from collecting these, and they're not good. But like the act of putting the puzzle pieces together, I think is fun. It's so fun that it makes it worth it. Cause like I like putting puzzles together, but the reward is kind of disappointing.
It's my favorite puzzle putting together minigame since puzzles back in that Mario game.
It's actually really fun.
All right. So squarely against Matt.
Oh, I get to go first, so I get to say I'm roundly for Timeless River. It's great. I loved it. It's the first level in the game that I was like, this is wonderful. John.
I'm squarely against the Mouse Plutocracy. Vanessa.
I am also roundly for the Timeless River. It's so charming. It just, it tickles my Disney fan fancy, to the extent that I am a Disney fan, which I am. Just not like, I used to think I was a fan of things, and then the internet exposed me to people who are real fans of things, and I can't really call myself a fan of anything. I'm just a person who likes stuff. You know what I mean?
I do.
But I love these old black and white character designs. I love Mickey Handshake. I love old-timey Donald. They make me happy in my heart to see them. And I wish the whole game was like that.
I mean, if you had watched, all of the originals, you would really get the nuance here, but I guess you don't. You just don't get it. So, but it's good that you like it.
What was that? Are you gatekeeping Vanessa?
That was funny. I'm
Jim,
kidding.
what are you squarely against?
Ooh, I'm also roundly for Timeless River. It felt like unexpected and original in a way that I didn't think the Kingdom Hearts series was capable of without resorting to like anime bullshit. It was fun to play, and the muted colors were interesting, and what they did with the characters was great. So that is what I'm roundly for. Matt, what are you squarely against?
None of your business.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on. Really? Are
Vanessa, we have an email.
Yes, and I am going to read it to you. because
And
I'm
I'm
ready
gonna read
to
it to
read it.
you.
I knew this
Sing it.
segment was coming, and I prepared to do it.
Sing it.
Sing the whole email?
Yep.
Okay. Dan Double N has another question. I'm not going to do it. You know why?
Wow.
Because you gatekept me. So
Bailed on it.
you don't get the gift of my beautiful song
Ooh, boy,
tonight.
don't make excuses.
sir.
Just say you don't want to do it. It's fine.
I don't want to do it. Hi, everyone. I was glancing at the round robin table that was posted by Vanessa in the Facebook page. And if you aren't a member of the Facebook page, you didn't get to see it. So too bad for you. This person goes on to explain that they heard on another podcast. Don't really want to plug that too much, right? Someone talking about, say there's this big evil bad guy, which for superheroes would you choose to save the world? And he says, in normal cases, you might choose your typical superheroes, and that would be the best fit. But here is my question for all of you. If you had to send 4 cereal box mascots to save the planet based on their known and potential abilities, who would they be? From Dan Double N.
I think you gotta consider Count Chocula right off the bat, because vampire power's gonna come in pretty useful.
I think Captain Crunch, also natural leader.
Got that leadership skill.
I feel like Tony the Tiger would be an effective tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
BooBerry, a good mage.
Ooh, we don't know that BooBerry's a mage. BooBerry's just a ghost.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
The leprechaun.
The
leprechaun
just piss
from
all over
Lucky
my
Charms.
head cannon, I guess. In my
The
mind,
leprechaun.
BooBerry does magic. So,
The leprechaun from Lucky Charms definitely does a lot of magic.
oh
though.
yeah, that one's the Tricks Rabbit. That guy's
Yep.
got magic powers
Yep.
out the wazoo.
So it gives us a wizard, a thief.
That guy seems more like a
warrior.
villain to me.
So, do Mr. T and Urkel count as cereal mascots?
Yes.
Because those are my choices, because I feel like they would have, Urkel can create robots. He
Yeah.
can
Oh
have
yeah, Urkel's a
time.
genius.
I mean,
And
by
Mr. T
that
is
logic-
very strong.
Urkel is a villain, though.
By that logic, you can also choose the cast of Star Wars and or Avengers.
Is there Avengers cereal?
Of course there is.
Yeah, I think we
feel
should
like we
stick
could
to
throw Rambo in too, right?
No. Look, let's step it back. These have to be exclusively cereal mascots. So
not the ghost from Ghostbusters.
not the ghost from Ghostbusters, but that toucan you could choose.
Nobody wants
What
to
about
do that.
Frankenberry? Frankenberry? Guy's strong as hell.
Yeah, you can choose Frankenberry.
What about the Cookie Crisp Wizard? That's
Or
another
the Cookie
wizard.
Crisp thief?
Yeah.
You could choose
Or the Cookie Crisp Wolf for like a real wolf man thing.
What
vibe.
about the Sugar Smacks frog?
The Sugar Smacks frog isn't going to help you. What's it going to do? Jump on things?
That guy's chaotic evil, I think.
He is a nuclear
Yeah.
scientist, Vanessa.
Oh, I didn't realize that canon. We haven't touched
Notice how
on
nobody
Snap,
wants
Crackle,
the,
or
yes,
Pop.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's true.
Notice how nobody wants the elves.
No. Or who gives a flying fuck about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch chefs? They are not going to do anything.
No.
Right, that's true.
There's that cuckoo bird who enjoys Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, but he
He's-
has mental issues.
He has mental issues.
Well, there's the bee from Honey Nut Cheerios, but I don't know that a bee is going to be that useful in a
He's a
party.
bee. He can sting.
Yeah,
Plus, if he
but he's
dies, it's
very
a huge
small.
tragedy, so that's a big problem.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's true.
We don't want to risk all our nation's bees.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that our core team of, who was it? Count Chocula.
Mr. T.
No, not Mr. T.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, Tony the Tiger, and who was the mage that we finally settled on? We have
Oh, the Cookie Crisp Wizard.
BooBerry.
Yeah, Cookie Crisp Wizard.
okay, no, BooBerry. You know what? I'm not gonna smack down Jim's dream. If he thinks
Thank
that
you.
BooBerry is
Thank you.
a mage, then a mage BooBerry shall
I
be.
believe in BooBerry.
That's our answer.
All right.
Thank you very much for the question.
All right. Well, all we have left is to mention
hang
our
on.
Patreon.
I just want to
to
be clear that this is the guy that you're claiming is a wizard.
Matt has sent a picture of BooBerry to our chat.
It's like a hillbilly ghost.
He looks like a hobo ghost.
This fucking corn hat on or corn cob hat on or whatever.
He looks like he's wearing a hot dog on his head.
Party failure.
I think that's a pork pie hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a little red bow tie, and he's very amorphous. Like, he doesn't really look like he could interact with anything of any actual substance. And I kind of love him.
It's a good mascot. Well, I suppose all that's left is
BooBerry.
to mention our Patreon, which, if you're a subscriber, you can have access to all of our great bonus content. At $3, you get access to all of our good bonus episodes, like our Square Roots level ups, or our Square Roots versus. Our most recent episode was about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder
Just when
Cut.
I forgot, you have to remind us.
Yeah. Next episode will be a really fun Mortal Kombat breakdown. So check that out. And at $5, you get access to all that great content. Plus, we will read. No, wait, that's at any level. At $5, you get access to all that great bonus content, plus the ability to vote on mainline Square Roots games. Kingdom Hearts 2 is a Patreon poll winner. We open it up a few times a year, so at the $5 level, you get the ability to vote on what we play for the show. Also, another perk is whatever level you decide to contribute, we will read your Patreon name aloud on the show. I'm going to kick us off this week by thanking Wash in the Wind, Andres Rivera, Jonathan Ellsworth, Grey Code, Ding Dong Ping Pong, Song Sung Rung by King Wong, David Pascal, Suru, I'm only doing this to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2, Adam Zimmerman, Isaac Wright, Justin Rash, Grayson, Andrew Leinart, Chris Ryan, Alex Dillard, OMG, what is this game? Zachary Train, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Andy Smith, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy Is, Ward Childress, please rise for the national anthem. Still Just Cows Nobody has an unpronounceable name. Do Good Recklessly, Wedge Coon, Andy Best, Randy P, George Brady, more like Kingdom Hearts is a blight.
Whoa.
Jameson, Race Jenkins, Jake Dickerson, Sergeant Spaghetti, I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store in the garden. Gage La Charité, Huxley Iguana, and Hales.
Arthur A., Paul Bursch, Aaron, Jail, O'Toole. Let's stop screwing around. Use the sweet, sweet Patreon money to buy the rights to Shadow Hearts and save it from limbo. This sea salt ice cream is almost as salty as Ross Hartley, Soy Soda Pop, WWE Mike G, Cameron Shoei, Joseph, DP 2099. DP. There are two wolves inside me. They won't stop talking about light and darkness. Please help. Vanessa's Gold, Taco Bell, PS5, Megan Sullivan, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021. That's this year. Chris Pignac, Florian Jonas Kramer, Citrus C, Alexander Jokic, Michael Crawford, Cassandra, Vanessa's Renegade Cheese Plate, Christian Go, Sammy Mitchell, Saber Delta, Kevin, Walter, Robert M. Pullum, Mother Box Milkers, Aaron Bachman, Kingdom Farts Poo, Nathan Poirot, Rox's Big Blue Swatting Dildo, Wawa Weewa, Chris Wilder, David Shook, Ari Corpivara, and Chief Hazard built a super secret escape route out this Twainwreck of a game for Mafu and Zant.
John Scala, Allie, Devin Sloan, Ryan Miller, Matt Newland is a soul clone or some shit, I don't know. Robert J. Defendi, MC Genesis raps a dos equis. That means 2 equis. Marcus Harnsberry, Lauren Prince, Ian Frederick, Vanessa's Internal Warring Horny Bears,
Wow.
Cyril the Wolf, Matthew Casterline, Aidan Marriott, Tracy, Eyes of the Shifter, Tracy the Borg Queen, Rubber Bear, more like Kingdom Sharts, ooh, Froxdong, Christopher Highness, Mostly Rational Person, Jack Mizell, Stephen Paget, Rolled Earth, Robert T, Welcome to Cute Boy Jail, Hong Kong,
Honk, honk.
Ethan G. Pearson, Hudson Roth, CharityWater.org, Brie Girth, I See Wieners, Joshua W. Broxson, William Westgard, Phil's Special Sea Salt Ice Cream, Sean Gonzalez, Brian Pitt, Dylan Rowe, Clone of the Nobody of the Heartless of a Patron, Snap Crackle Pop, I'm Chester Cheetah, Tom.
I would like to thank Sean Walsh, Tyler Petty, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, Hexagon, Miguel Torres, Zimj, Axensavs, Twextam, and Nixage, DJ Ethro, Peak, Nomura, Nonsense, PJ Ends, My Neck, My Back, Sephiroth, Cloud, and Zach, Amanda Douglas, Sean, Stan Ferguson, Joshua Bennett, Hat Ben, the Ben with the Hat, Justin Ham, Armin Hammer. I'm very sorry, ma'am, but could you help an old denominator like me gather his spectacles? Vanessa's mom, Roxas spelled sideways is Sorax. When performing The Stranger, is it technically Stranger Danger? Zorn Zorn.
Happy birthday, Zorn Zorn.
Jason Timms, Nick, Listen Up Scoot Stains, Gunblading Sid, Fresh Eyes, Tyler Crump, Stu Skeel. I'm sorry, Mickey, but I can't legally separate you two on the grounds that Minnie is mentally insane. Mickey replied, I don't Ricky Barty, Eric Garby, David Green, and Andy M.
I know the punchline of that joke.
What's the punchline?
I didn't say she's insane. I said she was...
Crazy?
A pain?
Fucking goofy.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. Send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook group is the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod on Twitter.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And as I said, I definitely have put up the new Spotify feed and have not been playing video games.
Yeah,
not
as
doing that.
promised.
Johnny.
As promised.
You're a bad John.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm
And
Bad
I'm-
Johnny.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
But no, I get the green horns. Yeah.